Welcome back, boys and girls. As you can see, different scenario, different background, but me and Raj are in the same room at last.
Finally met each other.
Yeah, funny story, it's actually the first time we met. We actually know each other via Twitter. We're going to be also asking you a massive question as usual, and today is a wonder kid, Erling Haaland. Everyone's been talking about 5 goals in 60 minutes for Borussia Dortmund. We've got the stats that you need, and we're going to tell you why he is an absolute wonder kid. Using the board as well. The board is here. I get my first touch on the board as well. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Drop a like if you enjoyed this video. And this week's question is, who do you think is the next up-and-coming wonder kid? And there's quite a few around, plenty of players. Raj, do you have one in mind?
I think obviously in the same team as Haaland, we've got Sancho. We've got a few videos coming up on him, and I think also in the same league as well, Kai Havertz is one to watch.
Alright, who's your one to watch? Drop it in the comments below. Let's get into Erling Haaland now. How good do you think Haaland actually is?
Well, I've seen a lot of doubters about him because they're saying he's played in the Austrian league and the Norwegian league.
Yeah.
I think it's key to remember he's actually already shown his pedigree in the Champions League, the biggest tournament of all. He's had 4 starts, he's scored in every single one of them. 8 goals and 1 assist in 4 starts. He's shown his pedigree already, so I think this guy's destined for the top.
Let's have a look at his style of play, because obviously he's a goal scorer. We've seen he scores all types of goals. So Raj, you are the tactics man. Hit us.
I think Erling Haaland, what we know about him is he's an out-and-out centre forward. You see in modern football now, there's definitely a different type of forward developing, where the striker often drops deep, gets involved in build-up and things. Erling Haaland's not one of them. He's an actual striker in the traditional sense.
Yeah, well, I think when you look at his goals, even from his first 5 goals at Dortmund, he just lurks from the last man. Almost a little bit Jamie Vardy-esque, except he doesn't have that amount of pace, but he's got a serious amount of intelligence. And I just can't wait to get on the board. So we're going to look at one of his most recent goals, and you can talk us through a few stats. I'm sure you've got plenty of them. But essentially, I liken him to Ruud van Nistelrooy. I know that's a huge compliment. I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying his format of play and the way he plays is really similar. All his goals are in the box. He follows in on the goalkeeper's saves. He sets off before the goalkeeper even saves it. As you can see on the screenshot, he's already ready to go. And of course, a few guys, by the way, have been asking about videos. Obviously, we can't post match footage. That's why you have these screenshots, and we can explain things to you. So the goal against Cologne, me and Raj have spoken about this so much so that we actually were using glasses as what is it called? Markers. Glasses as markers. So this situation here, you have Dahoud here and you have Erling Haaland here, and me and Raj are basically discussing how do you defend against this, because his movement is into this area here. By the way, the whiteboard is amazing to touch and work with. It's incredible. His movement is into there. You've got 2 defenders here, you're thinking they should be able to manage that situation. The ball's played from here by Dahoud. He's also the ball and the man right now. This defender is on his blind side. It's almost an impossible scenario for this centre-back to actually stop Erling Haaland making this run. This centre-back I actually think is in the right position. Again, you'll see all of this on the screenshots. He can't really do much, because if he comes in here, obviously the squeeze of space, but then you've got players on this side and this area is completely open. If he goes and asks him to drop in there, that's the only way you really stop him. And that's not a healthy position to be in as a defender, because once again, someone's coming in here. And
also the goal came from a transition, so he's not necessarily got the time to make that movement back.
That is the problem. The goal comes from a transition, but Erling Haaland's movement here, a lot of strikers, and you'll see it in whichever division you watch, they'll just set off early. They're already in there before this ball's actually played. So now this player here can only go square, or he goes backwards, and that's your transition gone. Because he lurks in there, and because this understanding already, having only played a matter of minutes together, he knows he's making that run. Once he's in that area, if he times his run well and the pass is good, it's almost a goal, because he's an incredibly clinical finisher.
And I think it's a combination of pace, as we said. He's not electric fast, but he makes up with it because of his intelligence, and he's opportunistic. He chooses exactly the right time to make that run, just about when the defender's moving forwards a bit, and he spots that and then attacks straight away. And that's why it's such a lethal combination, having that enough pace and also having the intelligence. Yeah,
it feels as though we're likening him to an old school striker. I mean, you had a stat which I've completely robbed off you. Sorry, bro. He played 5 passes and 3 shots against Algeria. You know that stat. I nicked it off you, but it does tell you he's an old school out and out striker.
Exactly, and I think Royce, he played about 60 minutes more than him, and he had 3 shots as well. And he only made 25 passes. You see the big difference there. Haaland's obviously focused on the goal, and you see that with a lot of his traits. His movement is phenomenal in the box.
I know we're likening him to Ruud van Nistelrooy, and I think the interesting thing about both of them is if it's on their favoured side, it's almost a guaranteed goal. If the ball's in the box and it's on their favoured side, it's a goal.
Yeah. And I think that's because Haaland, he also possesses two types of finishing. He's got that caressed one with his stronger left foot, and he just bends it into the corner. Really, it's almost like that finessed finish. But he's also got that blaster from like just outside the penalty spot zone. He can blast it, left-footed shot, and it flies into the net before the keeper's even seen it. So he's got those two types of finishes, and it helps him.
Let's take a look at how he fits in Dortmund. It'd be interesting to see whether he develops them skills at Dortmund. But it's quite unlikely because Dortmund play with the front three, no?
Yeah, I think why Haaland will fit in, they've lacked a real traditional striker in that front three, to be honest. Marco Reus has been playing that as a real false nine. As I said earlier, that stat about him making a lot more passes than Haaland and having not that many shots. He had 3 shots in the game where Haaland played a lot less than him. So I think that's going to be a big difference to him. I think Marco Reus actually came out with a quote. He said, "We've not had a striker like this guy since Robert Lewandowski." He's filling a big hole there. I think with Royce's physicality now, he's had so many injuries. We know with Marco, he was a real top talent. Sadly, we didn't see the full range of that potential. But I think he doesn't really make those runs in behind we were talking about with Erling Haaland. He's more dropping off, linking play with Sancho, with Thorgan Hazard. Haaland's going to really stick on the last man. So that's a big difference there.
I think the one thing that worries me with Haaland in this system is, and of course we're looking at how he fits in Dortmund. I think this is something that he could develop. But in his last 12 games, which of course includes the Salzburg games as well, he's only actually played 3 key passes. Now that obviously is an alarm bell for his link-up play. And if you think back to Lewandowski and Royce's bromance, a lot of it was their link-up play. Their link-up play was dangerous. However, I think with Sancho often tucks in here, Sancho's very much so like an inverted winger, although he does stay wide. You've got Thorgan Hazard does similar things on the opposite side, or whichever side they're playing on. I think that allows Haaland to get a bit closer, to try and work on that link-up play in there and in here.
Yeah, I think you're right, because especially in this system for Dortmund, it's Rafa Guerreiro and it's Hakimi who really provide the width. They come flying down the wings. That means likes of Thorgan Hazard and Sancho, they can get really tucked in. And I think you might be right. Haaland could develop that if he has that support around him. And also with Julian Brandt in the double pivot, that's a recent change that Favre's made. He's dropped Brandt from the front three and he's put him in midfield, right alongside Axel Witsel. And he's been a revelation there, to be honest. I think it's his dribbling and ability to take a man out of the game in midfield. And then he's got the beautiful weight of pass. So Haaland's going to thrive on that when he's making those runs in behind. Brandt's going to be a good supply line for him. I think the second thing is also with the 3 at the back, Manuel Akanji is very good on the ball, so he can advance with it and supply those runs over the top with lofted balls over the top. And everyone knows Mats Hummels is probably one of the best alongside Toby Alderweireld at those balls over the top. So I think he could have a lot of joy in the system.
I think the third mover to that is, in case you go and play Royce in one of these positions, say, if Royce plays in here, Royce is literally, for me, he's just a link-up man. He plays off strikers. He's not really someone who's going to take 4 players on. So what you'll find here is Thorgan Hazard and Sancho both have real individual ability to take players on. But if you put Royce in here, he almost plays right next to a Haaland or a Lewandowski as it was before. What that will force Haaland to do is link up. And I think at Salzburg he got away with just being this guy here, because they played in a 4. Let's say you have your 2 in here and your 2 in here and 2 up front. What often happens here is you've got a scenario of you don't really have to worry about this guy or this guy or this guy. You can pretty much just go and do your own thing in there. And I think you're loving the board.
Yeah, you're loving the board.
I love the board.
It's his first opportunity.
I think that's massively beneficial to him now that he has to link up, and the level's higher. I'm not no disrespect to the Austrian league, but I think the level's higher now. You can't just get away with running off defenders for 90 minutes.
No, definitely. And I think you're right as well with that Royce point as well. The other thing we saw in that first game in his debut against Salzburg, Favre, they were 3-1 down. Favre said, "I'm ditching the 3 at the back. I need to go more gung-ho here because I need a goal or 2." And he switched to a 4-2-3-1 actually. So went to an orthodox back 4. That's a goalie, sorry. So went to an orthodox back 4. Brandt and Witsel again as a double pivot. And then he put Royce as a 10. And then he had Hazard, he had Sancho, and I'm missing a man.
And he had Haaland.
There we go. So that, I just said, that provides Favre with another bit of in-game flexibility. He can flip to a more attacking formation now. He's got the personnel to play 4 forwards, Thorgan from the left, Royce, Sancho, Haaland. So that again, giving him another option.
I think all of this, and this is what I think the traits thing is so important, I think all of this really just plays into the hands of Haaland. We've obviously spoken about how Haaland fits in at Dortmund. There were plenty of other destinations where he could have gone. He's very young, and I can't imagine he'll stay at Dortmund for the rest of his career. Where else do you think he can go? And there is one in my mind, but I'll let you take the floor.
Well, I think the important thing to note is that he's got a £60 million release clause coming into play in 2022, so that's going to open him up to all the vultures around the world. As we know, Dortmund often get picked off by the bigger clubs. I think my first option, obviously, it seems it's a path that's well trodden by Lewandowski, Goetze, some Hummels even before going back. It's the Dortmund to Bayern move. If Bayern see a talent starring in the Bundesliga, you'll be sure they're on the phone and they'll be getting him. So I think Haaland could replace, especially if Robert Lewandowski's 31 now. He shows no signs of slowing up, but you don't know what age he's going to bring, do you? So Haaland could be the man to replace him.
Yeah, and the fact that Royce, crazily enough, compared him to Lewandowski, you just gave him that pass. So it does seem like that's an inevitable move. But if it's not, I think the other European move for him probably is Manchester United. I feel like United probably missed a trick by not getting him now. It'll be interesting to see how United develop, whether Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to play that format of football. There's this awful image, I think, in European football fans that because he's 6 foot plus, he's a big man up front. And I think the more people see him at Dortmund, the more you see, even I don't think he likes to be that guy. I think people are going to see he doesn't want to play that format of football. And for me, 60 million for Manchester United in a couple of years, I think United might be desperate next season or season after with Rashford and Martial being their only options. That could be a destination. As always, Raj, you love a little stat. Don't know how to describe this.
This is a collection of stats.
Yeah, a collection of stats. Where do you think his potential lies?
I think at the moment you see with Haaland, he's on a constant upwards trajectory, and that's from his time at Molde to Salzburg and now to Dortmund already. And I think that's also been seen with the better quality of coaches he's getting. And we've seen when he had Jesse Marsch at Salzburg, he's a very good developer of talent, as proven with Minamino, Hwang and Haaland.
Multiple players.
Yeah, multiple players. Amadou Haidara was another. And so we've seen he's improved there. If you look at his stats in the Norwegian league, so he had 16 goals and assists in 17 starts for Molde in the 2017-18 season. 28 in the last season just gone for Salzburg, he had 22 goals and assists in 11 starts in arguably a harder league. So you've seen already an improvement there. And then for Dortmund already, he's got 5 goals in 60 minutes. So who knows that way he's going to end up there. So he's on a constant upwards trajectory. So I think his star potential is pretty much certain.
Yeah, I think this is Haaland is probably the definition of wonderkid, in my opinion. Like, he's done everything so far to become a wonderkid. Now it's whether he becomes a star. You guys in the comments below, let us know what you think of Erling Haaland. 5 goals in 60 minutes has been a bonkers start. Where he might end up next, where his star potential is, and if you enjoy me with my action on the board, because I might have to get one for myself. Make sure you drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Comment with everything in below, and of course subscribe if you're new. And we'll see you guys very soon.